When they saw Peter organizing the staff to send off a young man in his 20s so respectfully, their eyes almost fell to the ground.
Holy shit, did I see it wrong just now? Who is that young man?
I wonder, a newly rising young tycoon, otherwise Peter would be so respectful to him? Indeed, that young man must have spent a lot of money to make Peter look like this, right? I heard that he ordered clothes with a yearly budget of 12 million from Peter's store. No wonder Peter served him like an ancestor. I don't know which nouveau riche's son came out. Spend $1 million on clothes, I think he is just burning money. If this was my son, I would beat him to death. TSK, don't say sour grapes when you can't eat grapes, you have to have money to smash $1 million before you can sour others. The Givenchy brand counter is next to the Japanese brand counter. The Givenchy brand counter made such a big news, how could the people on the Japanese brand side not know? What? The bumpkin who was kicked out of our store just now bought more than $1 million clothes in the Givenchy counter next door, and even claimed to order a year's performance of $10 million. When the old woman sales manager who had reached menopause heard the news from the salesman outside, her eyes bulged and her chin almost fell to the ground. How could it be? If he had bought it in our store just now, the 10 million performance wouldn't have gone to the Givenchy next door? The old woman regretted it at this moment, and her intestines were green. That god of wealth was the one she personally ordered to kick out. When the Japanese counter salesman heard that Carol Kaiser had spent a lot of money in the Givenchy counter next door, and spent $1 million on clothes, everyone's faces were like mourning. They didn't expect that they would miss the god of wealth. If only they had been nicer to him. Unfortunately, there is no if in this world. They could only watch the god of wealth slip away in front of them. What's wrong with the Japanese counter next door? Why are they like dead parents, so unlucky? Peter frowned slightly. Fortunately Mr. Kaiser had already left, otherwise if he annoyed Mr. Kaiser, that would be bad. Mr. Peter, I heard that Mr. Kaiser went to the Japanese counter next door first, but he was kicked out. Now when they heard that Mr. Caesar had spent $1 million, their faces turned black, their intestines turned green, and they cried. A well-informed clerk came to Peter's side and whispered, "There's such a thing?" Peter was slightly startled, and his eyebrows stretched out. The Japanese counter used to rely on the cheap advantage to suppress Givenchy in performance, which made Peter depressed. Now that he saw the Japanese counter eat a loss, he was naturally happy. "Put down your work first, come to me, I have something to announce." Peter looked at Vivian not far away, his mind moved, clapped his hands, and greeted the clerk. "In view of Vivian's outstanding performance, I have decided to transfer her to a regular position in advance, and directly promote her to the manager of this branch." No one expected that Peter would announce Vivian's early transfer to a regular position in front of everyone, and even directly promoted her to the branch manager, which was unprecedented. Vivian was still immersed in the huge shock that Carol Kaiser had just bought $1 million clothes for her, and suddenly heard that Peter had promoted her to the branch manager. Her head was completely stunned. "Vivian, work hard, this store is up to you. From now on, you are responsible for serving Mr. Kaiser full-time, and I hope you can say a few good words, this store depends on you." Peter patted Vivian's shoulder, and encouraged her with a smile. "Mr. Peter, I have too little work experience, and I haven't been here for long, I'm afraid I don't have the ability to bear such a heavy burden." Half a day, Vivian came back to her senses, and she still shook her head and refused Peter's kindness. Peter didn't expect that Vivian could still maintain a clear understanding of herself in the face of such a huge benefit, and he looked at her more highly, and smiled. "Don't worry, you just do it, no matter good or bad, I'll take it. Of course, if these people dare not obey your orders, just fire them. Other people, don't be dissatisfied. If you are like Vivian, you can find a customer who contributes 10 million performance to the store, you can also be the manager." Peter said coldly and glanced at the other clerks who had small thoughts in their hearts. As soon as Peter said this, those salesmen who became their bosses in one fell swoop immediately dispelled their small thoughts. Seeing that Peter trusted her so much and paved the way for her, Vivian could no longer refuse, so she nodded and accepted the position of store manager. When the news that Vivian became the manager from a probationary employee because of a young man named Carol Kaiser spread in the Want building, it caused a sensation again. It even reversed the attitude of the entire Want building salesmen towards customers. After all, everyone dreamed of becoming the next Vivian. From then on, the salesmen of Want building treated customers like family, making them feel at home. Customer flow increased day by day, and the performance of the entire Want building rose steadily. Carol Kaiser changed into the Givenchy clothes that Vivian had carefully selected for him, and walked out of the Want building. He suddenly smiled, radiant, glowing, and handsome. The two security guards at the door looked at Carol Kaiser's suit and leather shoes, and envied him. "Holy shit, this outfit is not cheap, right? Probably tens of thousands of dollars. Damn, rich people know how to enjoy. The money for a suit of clothes is more than my rent for a year. You damn it, if you have money, you can also dress like this. No, didn't you feel that the kid who just passed by was familiar? Familiar? You damn it, are you dreaming? With such a rich person, you are familiar with a fart. That's true. Holy shit, that kid is the bumpkin who just went in." Suddenly, the two security guards were shocked. Having a sports car of one's own is almost every man's dream. And having a top-level supercar has now become the standard for rich men. As a god-level tycoon, how could Carol Kaiser not have a supercar of his own? As the saying goes, one should fully enjoy the pleasures of life. Carol Kaiser was about to step into a Porsche 4S dealership when she caught sight of the Risto City Auto Show happening nearby. He thought to herself, "The cars appearing at this city auto show must be the latest models, worth a look." Entering the exhibition center, top-tier luxury cars were displayed in front of Carol Kaiser, with glamorous female models posing beside them, catching the attention of onlookers and journalists alike. Soon enough, Carol Kaiser's gaze was captivated by a Zonda 7690 Roadster Hermes Special Edition at the center of the booth. Its sleek exterior, vibrant colors, and graceful curves were simply every man's ultimate dream. "How much is this Zonda 7690 Roadster Hermes Special Edition?" Carol Kaiser asked. Carol Kaiser looked around and saw the salesman next to the Zonda 7690 Roadster Hermes Special Edition waving at his. "Sir, are you sure you want to buy this Zonda 7690 Roadster Hermes Special Edition supercar?" the salesman asked in disbelief. Thor, the salesman, couldn't help but widen his eyes when he heard that Carol Kaiser intended to buy this top-tier supercar worth over 20 million. Considering how long the Risto City Auto Show had been going on, this supercar had been on display for quite some time. Most people just came to take a look, but no one dared to consider buying it, given its exorbitant price. "Why is this car only for display and not for sale?" Carol Kaiser frowned. Finally finding a supercar that caught his eye, everything else at the auto show seemed like junk. "It's definitely for sale, but the price might be a bit high," Thor replied, feeling a bit uneasy at the staggering price. "Money is not an issue. Please tell me about this car. If everything meets my satisfaction, I'll buy it outright," Carol Kaiser said, raising an eyebrow. As a man destined to become a tycoon, worrying about money would be ridiculous. Thor glanced at Carol Kaiser's outfit, easily worth tens of thousands, and figured he must be affluent. "Sir, this car is currently Pagani's latest top-tier supercar. It features an 8.0-liter engine, a dual-clutch transmission, with a top speed of 607 km per hour and accelerates from 0 to 100 km per hour in 3 seconds. Currently, there's only one of this car in the country, and globally, only 30 are produced. Due to import tariffs, the price of this car is over 20 million, Thor explained. Hearing that there was only one of this model available in the country, Carol Kaiser interrupted Thor's introduction. "Okay, I'll take this one. Can I test drive it before I make the payment?" Thor was astonished by Carol Kaiser's swift decision to purchase the car worth over 43 million. He quickly regained his composure, seeing Carol Kaiser growing impatient. "Of course, but you'll need to pay a 10% deposit before the test drive. If you're not satisfied with the test drive, we'll refund the full amount. You can trust us on that," Thor assured. "All right." Carol Kaiser nodded lightly, taking out her Centurion Black card and handing it to Thor. "Can I pay with this card directly here?" "Yes, absolutely." "Sir, please wait a moment," Thor exclaimed. As Thor took Carol Kaiser's Centurion Black card, any doubts about whether Carol Kaiser was playing a prank on him vanished. He knew that the Centurion Black card was not something just anyone could possess, and his attitude towards Carol Kaiser became even more respectful. Ding! Thor swiped the card lightly on the card reader, and immediately, 2 million was credited. With utmost respect, Thor returned the Centurion Black card to Carol Kaiser. "Can I go for the test drive now?" Carol Kaiser was now eager to see how this top-tier supercar, worth over 20 million, performed. "Of course. And, as the first buyer of this Zonda 7690 Roadster, you'll have the privilege of having a model accompany you during the test drive," Thor announced. With that, Thor waved at a tall, beautiful model standing next to the Zonda 7690 Roadster. The model approached, her slender figure accentuated by a tight-fitting dress, and her long hair cascading down her shoulders. She exuded confidence and charm. "Nana, Mr. Kaiser intends to purchase this Zonda 7690 Roadster. He's going for a test drive now. Make sure Mr. Kaiser is satisfied, understood?" Thor signaled to Nana. "Sure, Mr. Kaiser, please follow me," Nana replied sweetly. While Thor was speaking, Nana had already assessed Carol Kaiser. Nana began to devise a plan. Nana also noticed Carol Kaiser's lingering gaze, especially on her ample bosom. Instead of being offended, she felt rather pleased. Didn't this show that her figure was attractive and alluring to men? For models like her, having an appealing physique was their greatest asset in attracting clients. Moreover, the organizers of this auto show were offering significant incentives to the models. Each car sold would earn them a 1% commission. So, the models were putting in extra effort to entice potential buyers. Wow, someone actually spent money to buy this outrageously expensive Zonda? Of course, it's true. Didn't you see that gorgeous model accompanying the young man for the test drive? Wow, I'm in luck this time. I've already figured out tomorrow's front-page headline. Mysterious man splurges at Risto City Auto Show, buys high-priced supercar. Damn, I got this news first. You can't steal it from me. The news of the mysterious young man purchasing the limited edition Zonda supercar for a hefty sum spread like wildfire throughout the Risto City Auto Show Center, instantly heating up the atmosphere of the entire event. Driving a luxury sports car, accompanied by beautiful models, there is nothing more enjoyable than this. Carol Kaiser, with Nana in the car, freely raced around the parking lot, experiencing the unparalleled sensory thrill brought by the ultimate speed. The beast-like speed, akin to a wild sprint, made Carol Kaiser feel as if she were about to take flight, merging with the car. After a test drive, Carol Kaiser was very satisfied with the car. A man should own such a top-notch sports car. "Kaiser, you drove so fast just now, you almost scared me to death." Nana lightly patted her still startled self, and the enchanting curves of her impressive figure swayed as she gave Carol Kaiser a coquettish glance, playfully complaining. "A real sports car is meant to be driven like this." Carol Kaiser proudly raised an eyebrow. "Kaiser, actually, not only is this car fast, but its shock absorption performance is also quite good. Kaiser, would you like to test the shock absorption performance of this car together with me?" With silky charm, Nana suddenly approached Carol Kaiser, whispered in his ear, and the tingling sensation was enough to set hearts aflutter. I wonder how we can test the shock absorption performance of this car? While saying this, Carol Kaiser's right hand had quietly and stealthily reached out to touch Nana's pair of long, slender legs clad in flesh-colored stockings. The sensation was incredible, making it hard to break away. Feeling the increasingly approaching large hand, instead of pushing it away, Nana welcomed it, guiding the hand to spread to more daring areas. As a car model, standing next to cars at car shows and posing for photos under the relentless flashbulbs of buyers and reporters can be quite tiring. But a few $100 is not even enough to buy a bag for myself. But if she sold this Pagani Zonda, the 1% commission would be enough for her to splurge. Furthermore, Carol Kaiser was young and wealthy. If she served him well and married into a wealthy family, wouldn't she have everything she wanted for the rest of her life? After weighing the pros and cons, Nana lightly bit her red lip, finally making a decision. Originally sitting in the passenger seat, she swiftly straddled Carol Kaiser. Suddenly, the Pagani Zonda swayed slightly. Nana's plump breasts gently pressed against Carol Caesar's chest, slightly squeezing and deforming. There was a coquettish smile on her face. Carol Caesar felt the soft, full breasts rubbing against his pecs, the slow scratching feeling making his heart beat faster. She actually grabbed Carol Kaiser's lower body at once. Although it was through her trousers, the hot feeling was revealed. Nana moved her fingers slightly, then held the erect cock in her hand, clasped the top with her thumb, held the other side with 3 fingers, and gently rubbed it through her pants. For more information, please read the original novel.